Contact in the void. The research vessel Luminara drifted silently through the empty region of space, its sleek silver hull gleaming under distant starlight. On the command deck, Captain Alira of the Vanari species stood contemplating the main view screen, her tall, willowy body casting hardly any shadow in the ambient lighting. "How much longer until we reach the signal source?" Alira asked, her large, almond-shaped eyes blinking slowly in the soft light. The Vanari had evolved on Vanaheim, a world of gentle breezes, stable temperatures, and abundant resources. Their bodies were slender and graceful with luminescent skin that had never needed to endure harsh conditions. Their civilization had advanced through cooperation and intellectual pursuits rather than conflict. Officer Talon tapped at the control panel with long, delicate fingers. "We should arrive at the coordinates in approximately 15 minutes, Captain." The entire crew of 20 Vanari had been excited when their long-range sensors detected the strange signal 2 cycles ago. Their species had explored this sector for centuries, but had never found conclusive evidence of another intelligent civilization. The signal was faint and old, repeating in a pattern that could only be artificial. "Put the signal on the main speakers," Alira ordered. A series of rhythmic pulses filled the command deck. The pattern repeated every 14 seconds. "Clearly designed, not random noise." "It matches nothing in our database," said Nilia, the ship's communications specialist. "But the mathematical sequence suggests it's some form of distress call." Alira nodded thoughtfully. "The signal appears quite ancient. Whoever transmitted it may be long gone." As the Luminara approached the source, they discovered a small device floating amidst cosmic debris. It was cylindrical, constructed of unfamiliar materials, and covered in strange angular symbols. The ship's robotic arm carefully retrieved it, bringing it aboard into the examination chamber. "The device is approximately 700 stellar cycles old," Nilia reported after initial scans. "Yet somehow it remains operational, powered by an energy source we cannot identify." "Can we decode the symbols?" Alira asked, fascination evident in her melodic voice. "Our systems are analyzing them now. The mathematical pattern suggests coordinates and some form of urgent message." After several hours of careful study, the ship's advanced computers decoded portions of the message. It contained precise coordinates to a distant star system and what appeared to be a desperate plea for assistance. The device had been designed to be discovered by any spacefaring species capable of interstellar travel. "We should respond," suggested Officer Talon. "If there are beings still monitoring this beacon, they might require aid." Alira considered this carefully. The Vanari were a peaceful species who valued knowledge and believed in offering assistance to others. Their gentle homeworld had taught them the value of harmony rather than competition. "Prepare a response in universal mathematical language," she decided. "Include our coordinates. If anyone still monitors this beacon, they should know their call has been answered." The Luminara's powerful transmitter sent the message toward the coordinates found in the ancient device. The signal raced through the void at light speed, crossing vast distances toward a yellow star with a blue-green third planet. Unknown to the Vanari, this planet would be classified as a death world by galactic standards, a place with crushing gravity, violent weather patterns, dangerous radiation levels, and countless predatory species. Any life form that evolved there would need to be extraordinarily resilient just to survive. 3 months later, as the Luminara continued its scientific mission in a nearby system, Officer Talon detected something unusual on the long-range sensors. "Captain, there's a vessel approaching at extreme velocity," he reported, voice trembling with excitement. "It's originating from the coordinates we transmitted our response to." Alira felt a surge of wonder. First contact with another spacefaring civilization. This will be the most significant moment in Vanari history. "Implement our welcoming protocols," she ordered. "This is a historic day for our people." None of the Vanari realized that the approaching vessel, the ESV Thunderbolt, was a heavily armed human military ship, and that the humans aboard, evolved on their harsh death world, were unlike anything the gentle Venari could possibly imagine. The ESV Thunderbolt dropped out of FTL travel with a burst of energy that momentarily disrupted the Luminara sensors. It was a formidable vessel, matte black with crimson markings, covered in armor plating and weapon systems. The craft had been designed for both deep space exploration and combat operations in the most inhospitable regions of known space. On the bridge, Commander Maya Chen stood with feet planted firmly on the deck, her posture radiating authority. She was of medium height with a muscular build, her dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, and her face bearing the subtle traces of past battles. "Sensors, what are we looking at?" Commander Chen asked, eyes fixed on the main display. Lieutenant Raj Patel studied his instruments intently. "Sir, there's a vessel approximately 40,000 kilometers ahead. Configuration doesn't match any known design. Definitely not human or any species we've encountered before." Chen nodded. 3 months earlier, Earth's deep space monitoring stations had detected what appeared to be a direct response to a beacon launched centuries ago during humanity's early explorations. After extensive analysis, they determined it was a first contact message from an unknown alien civilization. As Earth's most advanced military vessel, the Thunderbolt had been dispatched to investigate and extend diplomatic relations, or neutralize any potential threat. "Are they armed?" Chen asked. "No visible weapons systems, Commander," Paddle replied. "The vessel appears to be some kind of scientific or research ship. The hull would barely withstand a micrometeorite impact, let alone weapons fire." Chen frowned. "Open a communication channel. Let's introduce ourselves." The main screen flickered to life, showing the interior of the alien vessel. The humans stared in astonishment at the beings they saw. The aliens were tall and slender with delicate limbs, large iridescent eyes, and skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. They looked almost like living sculptures made of crystal and light, seemingly so fragile that a single touch might shatter them. "This is Commander Maya Chen of the ESV Thunderbolt representing the United Earth Alliance. We received your transmission and have come to establish contact." The alien captain seemed to tremble slightly when she spoke, her voice like chimes in a gentle breeze. The ship's translation system worked to interpret her musical language. "I am Captain Illyra of the research vessel Luminara. We responded to an ancient beacon. We believed we were making first contact with whoever left it." Chen's expression hardened. "You didn't send the original distress signal." "The beacon appears to be hundreds of years old," Illyra explained. "We found it adrift in space and responded out of scientific curiosity and humanitarian concern." As they conversed, the Venari crew observed the humans with growing fascination and unease. The human bodies looked impossibly dense and solid. Their movements were quick and deliberate, exhibiting a controlled power the Venari had never witnessed before. Even through the view screen, the Venari sensed something profoundly different about these creatures. "Permission to come aboard your vessel for a face-to-face meeting," Chen suggested. The Venari captain hesitated momentarily, then graciously agreed. 30 minutes later, a small shuttle from the Thunderbolt docked with the Luminara. Commander Chen and Dr. Elias Santos, the ship's xenobiologist, stepped through the airlock into the alien vessel. The gravity was significantly lighter than Earth's, making them feel buoyant with each step. The Venari crew retreated slightly as the humans entered. To the aliens, the humans moved in an alarming manner. Too dense, too powerful, too predatory. "Your gravity settings seem quite low," Santos commented, attempting to be friendly. "This is standard gravity for us," Captain Illyra explained nervously. You come from a high-gravity world. Earth has approximately 2.7 times this gravity," Chen stated matter-of-factly. The Venari exchanged horrified glances. "Only a death world would have gravity that intense." "And your atmospheric composition?" asked Officer Nilia, her voice quavering. "Nitrogen-oxygen mix, roughly 21% oxygen," Santos replied. The Venari scientist looked as if she might collapse. Such high oxygen levels would trigger spontaneous combustion on their world. As the meeting continued, the Vanari learned more alarming facts about humans. They could withstand temperature variations of over 100 degrees. Their bones could mend after breaking. Their blood contained iron. Most terrifying of all, they had evolved as persistent hunters who could pursue prey until it succumbed to exhaustion. By the meeting's conclusion, Captain Illyra understood the grave error they had made. They had broadcast their coordinates across the galaxy, and in response, they had awakened something ancient and powerful, a species that had conquered a world so deadly that its very existence should have been impossible. Dr. Santos sat across from Officer Nilia in the Luminaris conference room. The table between them held refreshments from both vessels. The human side featured metallic containers of water and protein-rich food. The Vanari side displayed crystalline bowls of glowing liquid. "So your people have never experienced war?" Santos asked, recording notes on his device. Nilia tilted her head in confusion. "War? We understand the concept from theoretical studies, but no. Vanari have always collaborated to address challenges." Santos nodded, concealing his surprise. "What about personal violence? Do Vanari ever physically harm one another?" Nilia's large eyes widened in shock. "That would be unthinkable. Our bodies are too fragile. Even minor impact can fracture our bones." Santos reviewed his notes. The Vanari had evolved on a world with stable climate, few natural disasters, plentiful resources, and critically, no predators. Their physiology had never needed to develop robust musculature or dense skeletal structures. They had never experienced the constant threat that shaped human evolution. In another room, Commander Chen met with Captain Illyra to discuss their societies. The differences became increasingly stark with each exchange. "You mentioned humans can continue functioning after sustaining injuries," Illyra said cautiously. "Could you elaborate?" Chen shrugged. "If we break a limb, we set the bone, immobilize it, and continue working. It heals within weeks." "Heals?" Illyra whispered. "You mean regenerates?" "Essentially, yes. Don't Vanari bones heal?" Illyra shook her head slowly. "If a Vanari suffers a skeletal fracture, they are permanently disabled. No regeneration occurs." Chen's eyebrows rose in surprise. "What about lacerations or wounds?" "A serious cut would be life-threatening," Illyra explained. "Our healing processes are extremely slow." As these conversations continued throughout the cycle, both species began to comprehend how fundamentally different they truly were. The humans learned that the Vanari lived for over 400 years, but were so delicate that even a minor fall could prove fatal. The Vanari discovered that humans required daily sleep, consumed other life forms, and could survive injuries that would instantly kill any Vanari. By the cycle's end, the Vanari crew had begun using the term Deathworlder when discussing humans privately. "They originate from a world that shouldn't support intelligent life," Nilia told her colleagues. "Extreme gravity, high oxygen, variable temperatures, constant threats from predators, and natural disasters. These conditions should prevent advanced civilization from developing. Yet they not only survive but thrive." Talon added, "Their bodies are engineered to endure conditions that would instantly kill us." Captain Illyra gazed out of the observation port at the massive human ship floating nearby. Its weapon systems could vaporize the Luminara with a single salvo. "We must proceed with caution," she said quietly. "These humans mean well, but they don't comprehend their own danger. A casual gesture from them could shatter our bones. What they considered gentle contact could destroy us." "Should we alert the Galactic Council?" Talon asked. Before Illyra could respond, the ship's alarms began to wail. On the main screen, a new vessel appeared, dropping out of FTL travel in a flash of dark energy. It was enormous and covered in sharp, blade-like protrusions. Officer Nilia gasped in terror. "It's a Drakari warship." The Vanari crew froze in dread. The situation had just become infinitely worse. Deathworlders unleashed. The Drakari warship loomed on the view screen, its dark hull bristling with weapon ports. The vessel was 4 times larger than the ESV Thunderbolt and shaped like a predatory creature with aggressive, forward-facing edges. "What is that?" Commander Chen asked, standing beside Captain Illyra on the Luminara's bridge. "Drakari," Illyra whispered, her voice trembling. "They are scavengers." "Scavengers of what?" "Resources, technology, knowledge. Tribute," Illyra explained. "They demand payment from peaceful species. Those who refuse are subjugated or eliminated." Chen's expression hardened. "Are they here for you?" "Most likely. They periodically raid our outer settlements. We've never encountered them this far from our territory before." The communication system chimed, and the screen shifted to show the interior of the Drakari ship. The alien that appeared made even the humans pause. The Drakari commander had thick, armored skin with metallic plates, 6 amber eyes arranged in a hexagonal pattern, and multiple appendages ending in serrated claws. "Vanari vessel," the Drakari growled in a guttural voice. "You have entered territory now claimed by the Drakari Imperium. You will surrender your ship and all technology." Captain Illyra stepped forward, attempting to conceal her fear. "We were unaware of any territorial claims in this region, Commander. We are conducting a peaceful scientific expedition." The Drakari commander's upper eyes narrowed. "What is the other vessel? It does not match our records." Commander Chen moved into view. "I am Commander Maya Chen of the ESV Thunderbolt, representing the United Earth Alliance." The Drakari paused, clearly searching through data. "Earth is not in our database. Explain your presence." "We received a signal that we interpreted as a communication attempt. We came to establish contact." The Drakari commander made a sound like grinding metal, which the translation system identified as laughter. "How unfortunate for you. Your vessel will also be claimed for study. Prepare to be boarded." The screen went dark. Chen immediately activated her communication device. "Thunderbolt, this is Commander Chen. Battle stations. The Drakari vessel is hostile. Prepare defensive positions and ready weapon systems." Captain Illyra stared at Chen in shock. "You intend to fight? Their ship is 4 times your size with technology far beyond yours." Chen's lips curved into a slight smile. "Size isn't everything, Captain. And humans have a long history of overcoming technological disadvantages." Within minutes, the Thunderbolt's crew had assumed combat positions. Lieutenant Commander Alexei Volkov, the ship's tactical officer, appeared on the communication screen. "Commander, we've analyzed their vessel. They have superior shielding and energy weapons, but their propulsion system appears vulnerable. Their hull composition suggests they rely primarily on deflection rather than absorption of impacts." Chen nodded. "Prepare the kinetic penetrators and ready the boarding teams. We'll disable their engines and take the fight to them." On the Luminara, the Vanari watched in astonishment as the human vessel, despite being severely outmatched, began offensive maneuvers against the Drakari warship. The Thunderbolt accelerated rapidly, performing evasive patterns that seemed impossible for a vessel of its size. "Their acceleration would kill us instantly," Officer Talon murmured, monitoring the human ship's movements. "The G-forces they're sustaining." The Drakari ship fired energy weapons that the Thunderbolt narrowly avoided. The human vessel responded with projectiles. Solid metal objects accelerated to incredible velocities. The Drakari shields flashed, but failed to completely stop the physical impacts. Several penetrators struck the enemy ship's engine section, causing visible damage. "Their weapons are primitive but effective," Nilia observed. The Drakari weren't expecting physical projectiles. The Drakari commander appeared on the screen again, now addressing both ships. "This resistance is futile. You have damaged our vessel, which will now be added to your reparations. Surrender or be destroyed." Before either captain could respond, the Drakari warship launched boarding shuttles toward both the Luminara and the Thunderbolt. The human vessel destroyed several with precision fire, but 2 managed to attach to the Thunderbolt's hull. One shuttle headed directly for the Luminara. "We have no defensive capabilities," Elira said, panic evident in her voice. "We cannot repel boarders." Commander Chen made a quick decision. "Thunderbolt, dispatch defensive teams to the Vanari vessel immediately. These people cannot protect themselves." Minutes later, as the Drakari shuttle forced its way through the Luminara's outer airlock, 6 humans in combat armor arrived from the Thunderbolt. They carried weapons and moved with alarming speed and purpose. "Get your people to safety," the human team leader, Lieutenant Kira Washington, instructed Elira. "We'll handle the Drakari." The Vanari crew retreated to the inner chambers as instructed. Through the ship's internal security systems, they watched in horror and fascination as the events unfolded. The Drakari boarding party consisted of 8 armored warriors, each standing 2 meters tall with natural armor and multiple limbs. They moved through the Luminara's corridors with predatory confidence, expecting no resistance from the fragile Vanari. When they encountered the human defenders, their confidence wavered. The humans, despite being outnumbered and physically smaller, moved with coordinated precision. In the low gravity of the Vanari ship, the humans exhibited maneuverability that startled both the Vanari and the Drakari. The humans used the environment to their advantage, utilizing the ceiling and walls as launching points. They fired weapons that the Drakari armor partially absorbed, but then closed to combat range with shocking speed. Captain Elira watched in disbelief as the humans engaged the much larger Drakari in physical combat. A human female half the size of a Drakari warrior used the alien's own momentum to throw it into a bulkhead. Another human, wounded by a Drakari claw, continued fighting as if unaffected. "They're bleeding, but still functioning," Nilia whispered in awe. Just as they described. The battle in the corridors lasted less than 10 minutes. When it ended, all 8 Drakari lay incapacitated or dead. 2 humans had sustained injuries but remained operational. Lieutenant Washington contacted Commander Chen. "Luminara secure, Commander. Minimal casualties on our side." Meanwhile, on the Thunderbolt, another battle raged. The Drakari had breached 2 sections, but were meeting ferocious resistance. Human crew members fought with a determination the Drakari had never encountered, refusing to yield even when injured. The Drakari commander, now facing unexpected resistance, appeared on all communication channels. "Cease this pointless struggle. We outnumber and outgun you. Your primitive weapons cannot hope to overcome our superiority." Commander Chen responded with calm determination. "You've misjudged the situation, Commander. Humans don't surrender easily, especially when protecting others." As they spoke, the Thunderbolt's boarding teams had reached the Drakari vessel through the breaches created by their kinetic weapons. Human special forces moved through the enemy ship with determined efficiency. "Your ship has been compromised," Chen informed the Drakari commander. "Our teams are currently at your propulsion control center and main weapons array. We can disable both systems permanently." The Drakari commander's multiple eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible. No species would dare board a Drakari warship." Chen's expression remained unchanged. "Perhaps you should update your database to include humans from Earth. We specialize in the impossible." On the Luminara, Captain Elira and her officers watched this exchange with growing amazement. These Deathworlders, rather than being the nightmare they had initially feared, were now their salvation. "They're not just physically resilient," Talon observed. "Their tactical thinking operates on a completely different level. They instantly adapted to fighting in our ship's low gravity." After tense negotiations, the Drakari commander agreed to withdraw. His warship, damaged and partially disabled by the human boarding teams, retreated from the area with what dignity it could salvage. When Commander Chen returned to the Luminara, Captain Elira greeted her with newfound respect. "You risked your lives to protect us," Elira said. "We misjudged you based on your physical characteristics. We saw only the potential for violence, not your capacity for protection." Chen smiled. "It's a common misconception about humans. Our ability to fight doesn't mean we prefer it. We evolved in harsh conditions that required strength and aggression to survive, but we've learned to channel those traits constructively. Dr. Santos joined them, adding, "From an evolutionary perspective, our worlds shaped us differently. Your species developed intelligence and cooperation in a gentle environment. Ours forged those same qualities through adversity and competition." In the days that followed, the two crews worked together to repair their vessels. The Vanari marveled at human ingenuity and adaptability, while the humans appreciated the Vanari's advanced scientific knowledge and perspective. Before parting ways, the two captains established a formal alliance, the first between humans and another spacefaring species. "The galaxy is filled with wonders and dangers," Elira told Chen. "We Vanari have the knowledge to navigate it, but lack the physical resilience to face its threats. And we humans have the strength but are still learning about the wider universe," Chen replied. "Together, we complement each other perfectly." As the Thunderbolt prepared to depart, Lieutenant Washington approached Officer Nilia. "Will you be all right? The Drakari might return." Nilia's expression brightened. "We're heading directly to Vanari space, and your commander has provided us with a communication device to contact Earth if needed." Washington nodded. "The Thunderbolt will remain in this sector for several months. If you encounter any more scavengers, we're just a signal away." The Vanari watched as the human vessel departed, its powerful engines glowing against the darkness of space. What they had initially perceived as a nightmare, meeting Deathworlders who could crush them with a casual touch, had transformed into something unexpected: hope. The ancient beacon, meant as a desperate plea for help centuries ago, had ultimately fulfilled its purpose in ways its creators could never have imagined. It had brought together two species that might otherwise never have met, one forged in fire and hardship, the other nurtured in peace and harmony. Together, they represented something new in the galaxy, the marriage of resilience and wisdom, strength and compassion, the Deathworld and the Paradise, united against the darkness between the stars.